Hello friends, for AIB 18, we have to concentrate more on IPC as it is having the weightage of 10 marks, and like all the other videos, we are just concentrating whichever subject, whichever act is having more weightage, and we are just have to concentrate that we should get all the marks. And how many series of this is just to have knowledge of all the sections and what is the important section and how many times a question is asked in AIB for the same section. We will have details of the section and this in that section how many times the question was asked. So we'll just go for that without wasting time. At least 12 minutes video will be there. In the parts, I will just complete all the sections. So as you can see in the screen, Indian Penal Code 1860 section or total section 1 to 511. So whichever sections are important and how many times it was asked, that is interesting to know, and it will just highlight our importance. Now should we study which section or which part of code is important for us. That will be easy for us to solve the question paper of AIB 18. So let us go for that. It will be in parts, as I am telling you. It will be in the parts, at least 5-6 parts will be there minimum, as far as I can see, and there are so many questions repeated, and we will find out that in which section it was repeated and how many times it was repeated. So it is very interesting to know, and this is a analysis of all the AIB exams previously conducted and how many times IPC questions were asked in that all the papers. So it is a consolidated thing. Please like, share, subscribe. This is an effort to give you all the sorted question of IPC and an important section of IPC, whatever the parts, and it's important to know. We should know this, and it's very important from not from the exam point of view, it is from the practice point of view also. We should know which part is important and what is the weightage in exam. So Indian Penal Code is the official criminal code of India. It is comprehensive code intended to cover all the substantive aspect of criminal law. And the assented is 6th October 1860. For competitive exam of all other than AIB, this is very important. We should know when it was commenced, and it was in 1st January 1862. So this date is also important from competitive exam point of view. Importance is there. So committee report is First Law Commission. Maybe the question will not be on this, but we are supposed to know all these important things. It was about the new bill, which is called Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. It was introduced in 11 August 23. The government of introduced bill in Lok Sabha to replace the Indian Penal Code with draft code called Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. And this old, or as it is going on and it is not yet passed through, we have to study this act, Indian Penal Code 1860, section 1 to 500. And how many chapters are there in this? It is very interesting to know, and which chapters are important from our exam point of view. I have just highlighted that. So this is chapter 1. Total chapters are 23. And 22 and 25. Chapter 32. This is the last section. As you can see it on the screen, I have highlighted whatever part is important from exam point of view. It is highlighted, and you can see as in there the section important. I have highlighted that also. So as you can see, we'll go one by one. But please make a chart like this in your study area, और जिधर भी आप देख सकते हो रोज, तो एक चार्ट बना के रखिए जिसमें आप ये जो मेन sections है जो highlight कर रही हूँ, you can just write it down or make a chart of it, and you will just make it easy. So index point of view also, you should know. Only having the bare act in your hand, it will not give you all the idea of code. So it's very important that we should know all the chapter. Chapter 1 is section 1 to 5, that is introduction, and 6 to 52 general explanation, 53 to 75 punishments. So 53 में क्या है? Punishment defined. So how many types of punishment? It is also, we'll just go for that. How many kinds of punishment? It was once in an exam, it was asked how many kinds of punishments are there in section 53. So we'll just finish all these chapters and we'll go for the section, and that you will find out how many kinds of punishments are there in section 53. It is described in section 53. So this index question, we should not lose our marks. So make a chart of it and hang it wherever you can just see it every day. So once you learn each day or twice a day, twice day after, then you can just remember it nicely. So chapter 4 is important, that is of general exception 76 to 106. And the one question was asked about this right of private defense. Which sections are there? So 96 to 106. We know all these sections from 76 to 106. But right of private defense is given in section 96 to 106. So please remember this. It is highlighted because of this only. So make a chart, make highlighted thing, and you will just remember it. It's very easy. Chapter 5, section 107 to 120. That is talking about abatement. Chapter 5A. This is chapter 5A. Section 120A to 120B. That is talking about criminal conspiracy. We'll have detail about this thing in next video. So chapter 6 is talking about 121 to 130. Offenses against state. And in this also we had question about Mahatma Gandhi's sedition and all. You will just see in the next video. So section 121 to 130 is talking about offenses against state. Offenses relating to army section. So these they're not asked in exam. I'm just giving you idea of how many chapters are there. So chapter 9A. One question was there about the offenses relating to election. So in one AIV it was asked about this chapter 9A, when it was inserted, and you will find out. 10 is talking about contempts of lawful authority of public servants. Contempts of lawful authority of public servants. Chapter 11, section 191 to 229, false evidence and offenses against public justice. So this is by public servant and this is against public justice. So please remember this word, public justice, public servant. It was talking about contents, and this is talking about offenses against public justice. So chapter 12, offenses relating to coin and government stamps. Offenses related to weights and measure, never asked in previous any exam. So this chapter 14 is very much important and it will give you marks. तो ये आप ध्यान में रखिए कि chapter number 14 is very important and many times it was asked questions and we are supposed to know offenses affecting the public health, safety, convenience, decency and morals. So these words are important: public health, safety, convenience, decency and morals. They are talking, and the range is of section 268 to 294, 268 से 294 तक चैप्टर 14 है, जिसमें ऑफेंसेस अफेक्टिंग public health, safety, convenience, decency and morals are given. So 3, 4, 5 things are mentioned in this. And this is chapter 15, section 295 to 298, offenses relating to religion. So all this highlighted portion, it was very much important and so many questions were asked from this area. So you just make a note of it. And this is chapter 16, section 299 to 377. It's very, very important, and we should know all the sections in this. So this section of whatever mentioned, offenses affecting the human body, affecting life, including murder, sure questions are there in this. So homicide का जो section है 299 to 311, please make a note. They are having importance for AIB. So exposure of infants, concealment of birth, section 312, hurt section are mentioning 319 to 338. Wrongful restraint, wrongful confinement, section 339 to 348. Criminal force and assault, section 349 to 358. This range is important. We should know about this range, 349 to 358. You have the book in your hand, but what is inside these sections, that is also important. Kidnapping and abduction is criminal force, assault, section 349 to 358. Slavery, forced labor. So there might be a question about this forced labor, slavery in section 359 to 374. That range is asked. Just like the general and the private defenses, it was asked previously twice in a AIB exam. Sexual offenses related, including rape and sodomy, they are given in 375 to 377. This range, you should make a chart or make a note of it. Chapter 17, section 378 to 462, offenses against property. So these are offenses against human body. This chapter is 16. Chapter 17 is of property. Every time you should not open the Bare Act. You should know some things at a tips. ये बहुत easy हो जाएगा. Wherever you save your time, it will be useful for the completion of, and you can use it for questions wherever you have to think and give some time. Extortion is sections 383 to 389. Robbery and dacoity. This is also favorite section, highlighted as 390 to 402. Robbery and dacoity. इसमें डेफिनेशन पूछ सकते हैं, रॉबरी क्या है, डेकॉइटी क्या है, कितने लोगों के होने से डेकॉइटी होती है और कितने लोगों से. थेफ्ट इज अ minor offense and dacoity is a serious offense where more than 4 persons are involved. So we'll just go into that section and you will find out many questions were asked on this area also. So criminal, this is provision of property, breach of trust, receiving stolen property 410 से 414. चीटिंग, इसमें भी 2 बार क्वेश्चन आ चुका है. 420 वाला एक क्वेश्चन है, मैंने देखा है. So we'll just see in that serial section wherever the questions were asked. The mischief section are 425 to 440 and criminal trespass is given in 441 to 462. So these highlighted sections were asked in previous exam. So please note of it and we'll go for that questions wherever it was mentioned. Chapter 20. This is chapter 20, section 493 to 498, offenses related to marriage. This is a favorite section. So many times it is asked because we are having that DV cases in 498A, cruelty by husband and relatives of husband. So it's very important. It's always the question is there. Twice or 3 times that 498 is asked. 499 to 50T. 502 is in section is 21, defamation. This is important. 499 to 502, twice questions were there. 2 बार पूछ चुके हैं. Criminal intimidation, वो भी पूछ चुके हैं पहले. Section है 503 to 510. So total question sections are 511. If any person is guilty of an offense under section 503, the court can punish him with imprisonment up to 2 years. So please remember this is important thing to know about 503. I have just taken extract of some sections and what we can just take out of from that section, whatever important things or ingredients. So For that reason, I mentioned this. If any person is guilty of offense under section 503, the court can punish him with imprisonment of 2 years. So up to 2 years हो सकती है. And this is a bailable offense. The court can levy fine for it. Fine भी मिल सकता है. And there is a case, important case, where extortion and criminal intimidation are frequently confused in common usage. The distinction was outlined in the case of Romesh Chandra Arora versus State of, that was the case of 1960. You please remember about this case. It was giving the difference between extortion and criminal intimidation. Though the things are, there is a distinction. It was outlined in the case of Romesh Chandra Arora versus State. पुरानी केस है, लेकिन जिसमें आपको एक्सप्लेन किया गया है कि डिस्टिंक्शन क्या है, इसमें डिफरेंस क्या है. सेक्शन 503, 504, 505, 506 विच 4 सेक्शन है जो बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है, विच एड्रेस एक्ट ऑफ क्रिमिनल इंटिमिडेशन. सो जिसमें ये 4 सेक्शन है जिसमें क्रिमिनल इंटिमिडेशन एड्रेस किया है. व्हाट इज क्रिमिनल इंटिमिडेशन? The list of essential is also, you will find out here. Ingredients. And IPC section 503 falls under bailable offense. So you please make a note of it. 503 bailable offense hai. A bail is a legal term. That means a temporary release of accused on the condition that a sum of money is to be given. So whatever the reason, temporary release will be there till the case is decided. तो सेक्शन 503 डिफाइन करता है क्रिमिनल इंटिमिडेशन को. सेक्शन 504 इंटेंशनल इंसल्ट विथ इंटेंट टू प्रोवोक ब्रीच ऑफ द पीस. So 504 में ब्रीच ऑफ पीस है, and 503 is a bailable offense. 505 statements conducing to public mischief. So essentials of criminal intimidation under section 503 of IPC. There is an essential of criminal intimidation. I'll just complete this list and stop. So essential of criminal intimidation given in section 503 of IPC. Threat of injury to the victim. I'll just continue in the next video as it is more than 10 minutes. Or shall I finish it? So we'll go for it. Essentials of criminal intimidation under section 503 of IPC. The threat of injury to the victim. ये सारे essentials है जिसमें criminal intimidation हो सकता है. Threat of injury to the victim. Ways in which threat can occur, that is given. Intimidation to cause bodily harm, intimidation to cause damage to reputation, intimidation to cause harm to the victim's property. Please note, victim's property. Wherever threatening to cause harm to the victim's property, it is a criminal intimidation under section 503 of IPC. ये जो भी essential दिए गए हैं, अगर ये प्रूव किए जाते हैं तो it is a offense in section 503. It is a list of offenses there mentioned. So this is property, threatening to harm another individual or their reputation where original person has personal interest. तो किसी भी रिश्तेदार या फिर जो भी है नजदीकी व्यक्ति, उसके बारे में अगर हार्म करने की कोशिश हो रही है, रेपुटेशन टू, जिसका ये रिलेशन है उससे, तो उसको उसी तरफ से ये क्या हो सकता है, क्रिमिनल इंटिमिडेशन. इंटेंशन एट द टाइम ऑफ थ्रेट, threatening to cause alarm to an individual, threatening to someone to do something that they are not legally obligation to do. जो भी है, they are not legally obligated to do. जो भी है उसका कोई कर्तव्य है नहीं, लेकिन उसको करने के लिए कहा जा रहा है, तो that threatening is criminal intimidation. Punishment for criminal intimidation is given in section 503 IPC. Simple criminal intimidation: hurt, grievous hurt, death of person. The threat is impute chastity to woman commission of criminal intimidation by an annoyance communication. So the cases are, I have just mentioned, Doroswamy Iyer versus King Emperor Rajendra Datta versus State of Haryana, Shri Vasanta Vaman Pradhan versus Dattatreya Vittal Salvi, that is of 2004. These are leading cases. They might ask you in section under section 503. तो ये 503 के बारे में जो भी है cases, criminal intimidation wherever it is mentioned, so these cases are important. Manik Taneja and others versus State of Karnataka, Vikram Johar, State of Uttar Pradesh. Extortion and criminal intimidation are frequently confused. As I mentioned, it was in the case of Ramesh Chandra Arora versus State. So we'll stop here and we'll just continue in the next video, where in the next part we'll just discuss about the question paper, wherever it was repeated, in which sections. I have just have extract of it. So this is start of this IPC videos, and we'll just go and complete it. You can see that. So section 88 में भी जो है यहाँ पे दिखाया गया है जनरल डिफेंस के बारे में, सर्जन्स एंड डॉक्टर्स आर प्रोटेक्टेड 14A. So we'll just go for every section wherever it was asked. So thank you very much. We'll continue in the next session about the questions and the sections, important section I have mentioned. Thank you. I'll just load another part of it today only, where we will just go for the questions asked in AIB.